engaged in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of assembly at the steps of City Hall, which is a traditional public forum.
Does someone have a First Amendment right to stand on the steps of City Hall in Little Rock, Arkansas, holding a sign that says, "God bless our homeless vets"? These two cops, who are clearly constitutional scholars, don't think so.
Y'all want them off the property? So they do want you off the property. I apologize that they haven't let you. Well,
regardless of whether I'm homeless, I still have the right to free speech.
I got you. I'm not saying that that's the reason. Without you answering that, due to the sign that I'm looking at, it's homeless. Okay, you're utilizing your amendments. What you're doing, though, also at the same time is loitering.
No. Soliciting is different. When you're out here begging for money, yes, it is. It's something different.
Are you disagreeing with the courts about that? I'm not sure.
What I'm telling you is I know you want an argument. That's what you're here. Your goal is. Here, listen to what I'm saying. You cannot be on government property, and this is state government, begging for money. It's one thing to stand here and just talk, freedom of speech, but it's another when you're holding a sign saying you're a homeless vet.
Yeah.
Do you even have a VA card to prove you're a veteran, sir? Or are you falsifying that information? Are you a veteran? What branch? Okay, I was too. What was your MOS? Okay, because you probably weren't. I seriously doubt you were. Keep pointing your finger at me, sir, and I'm going to take it as a threat.
You're really not going to believe this infuriating footage from Jeff Gray. Which side here is actually ignorant of the law? Let's go through this footage because it's outrageous, and then I'll answer that question.
I tried explaining it to you, but you don't want to listen. Well, you're f***ing ignorant.
Many of you have discovered that it can be nearly impossible to find a civil rights lawyer. Although I get calls from all around the country every day, I'm only one person, and I only take specific types of cases, and only in West Virginia. The good news is that if you need a lawyer because you've been injured, you can hire America's largest injury law firm, no matter what state you're in. Morgan & Morgan has over 1,000 attorneys in all 50 states. Because they're the biggest, they have the ability not to settle for lowball offers. Last year in Florida, they got a victim who was in a life-altering car crash, $12.2 million. The insurance only offered them $350,000. They got another victim in New York, $6.8 million. The insurance only offered the victim $275,000. Best part, their service is free unless you win. It only takes a few minutes to see if you have a case. You can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all from your smartphone. If you've been seriously injured, it will only take a couple of minutes to start a claim with Morgan & Morgan at forthepeople.com/thecivilrightslawyer, found in the description below. Is there anything that's more pure, protected First Amendment speech than standing in some traditional public forum such as the steps of a city hall and holding a sign that says, "God bless our homeless vets"? It's an expression of both political speech and religious speech. I mean, it doesn't take a constitutional scholar to understand that. But for some crazy reason, police officers and government employees from across the country can't seem to understand that. This is Jeff Gray. I've done videos on him before. He does exactly that at places like the steps of city halls in cities and small towns across the country. It was only a couple of years ago that Jeff Gray had filed a lawsuit supported by the First Amendment advocacy group FIRE against the city of Alpharetta, Georgia. To settle that lawsuit, the city had to pay Jeff $55,000 and agree to other terms such as providing training to police officers there on what the First Amendment means. Recently, Jeff went to Little Rock, Arkansas, and he held his sign there with his cameras rolling on the front steps of the city hall. And this may be one of the most egregious incidents that I've ever seen filmed by Jeff. Like he always does, Jeff is just standing there, not impeding any sort of traffic, not causing any disturbances. He's just being polite, holding his sign, and when people walk by, at most he says, "God bless the homeless vets." That's the point. He's causing no problems whatsoever. He's engaging in absolutely protected First Amendment activity, but like moths to a flame, these people, they flip out when he does this. And the reason that they flip out, I think, has everything to do with just the nature of his sign. It's this ratty cardboard sign that he carries around. It absolutely triggers them because it looks like he's panhandling. And that's sort of the whole point, because even though the federal courts have ruled many times that panhandling is actually a protected form of speech under the First Amendment. So what he's doing not only captures the political and religious expressions of "God bless the homeless vets," but it also does so in such a way as to cause these people to assume that he's soliciting charitable donations. And in almost every case, these people don't understand that even if he were doing so, that is specifically protected First Amendment speech. But just the nature of the sign causes them to completely go off the rails. It always starts with somebody from City Hall calling the cops. Then the cops show up. And that's exactly what happened here. And the first officer to show up was Officer Jackson of the Little Rock Police Department. And here's how that went.
What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? I'm Officer Jackson with Little Rock Police Department.
Yes, sir.
I've been advised that security has asked you to leave and you won't. What's the deal here?
They haven't asked me to leave. They just said they're not sure if I could do this or not.
And that's exactly right. As I mentioned before, ever standing there with his sign, Jeff sets up cameras because these government tyrants, what they always will do is lie. So the employees that call the police, they'll make allegations that he's causing some sort of a disturbance or he's scaring people or whatever. Then the cops who talk to him will say he said something that he didn't say. And so he films everything. And so here's the actual reality of what happened with the interaction with the City Hall security guard prior to Officer Jackson's arrival, which is basically nothing.
Yes, sir.
You got to take it across the street.
No, sir. I'm gonna go ahead and stay right here for about 40.
You can do that right here.
Yep, I'm gonna go ahead and do it right here till I'm done, and I'll be on my way.
You can't do it right here.
I disagree with you. Why can't I do it? Can you tell me why I can't do it right here? Why would you call the police on somebody saying God bless our homeless veterans? Sir. Sir. Why would you do that? Can't you just leave me alone? Why are you guys calling the cops on a man standing on the steps of City Hall saying God bless the homeless veterans? Why is that? Why would you do something like that? Why can't you just leave me alone? I can stand over there, but I can't stand at the steps of City Hall and do this?
Okay. Y'all want them off the property? So they do want you off the property. I apologize that they haven't let you know that. So.
Okay. Well, let me explain something to you first.
Go ahead, brother.
What I'm doing is I'm engaged in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of assembly at the steps of City Hall, which is a traditional public forum.
Okay.
If they trespass me off of this property for engaging in my civil rights, you're going to be held liable, and they're going to be held liable, and the city's going to be held liable.
I got you.
So I encourage you, and I'm being polite here.
Yeah, no, maybe we're on good terms, brother.
Yeah, I encourage you to contact the city attorney, contact the mayor, contact the DA, contact your supervisor, and let them know before you trespass me off.
I got you. Well, listen to me. Let's step over here. That way, if somebody comes over here.
I'd rather stand right here.
Okay. Well, listen to me.
Yes.
I get you got God bless on there. You're a veteran. Is that
Yes, sir.
right? Okay. But are you homeless?
I don't answer questions like that.
Okay. Well,
regardless of whether I'm homeless, I still have the right to
no.
free speech.
I got you. I'm not saying that that's the reason. Without you answering that, due to the sign that I'm looking at, it's homeless. Okay. So at that point, I get you're utilizing your amendments. Okay.
Yes, I'm using
We'll
my
just keep it that simple.
free speech.
With that being said, what you're doing though also at the same time is loitering. Okay. It's not the principle that they are being biased against you being religious.
I'm hard of hearing.
You're good. It's not the fact that you're a veteran or that you're pushing your religion. It's the fact that you're loitering right on the front steps of City Hall. So you can simply just step on the public sidewalk and it'd be that simple.
Yeah, the steps of City Hall is a traditional public forum.
Okay. Well, what's your name?
I'd rather not give my name or anything like that.
Well,
I told you it was Jeff.
Jeff?
Yeah, Jeff.
I get that. What's your last name?
I'd rather not give my last name.
All right, well, listen. You're wanting me to contact all these people and all that stuff, so I am conducting an investigation. So therefore, I don't want you to catch a petty charge for obstruction.
It's not. I'm engaged in free speech.
I got you, and I'm doing my job.
Before you put me in cuffs, like I said, contact the city attorney or something like that, because I put you on notice that I'm engaged in
I got you. Listen to
protected
me.
activity.
Are you going to give me your last name and date of birth or not?
What would happen if I don't?
Obstruction.
Now, this should come as no surprise to you if you've watched many of my videos. Many police officers are indeed not constitutional scholars. Instead, many times they are taught that if they have any interaction with an individual at all, that they then have to get that individual's information for their police report, of course, or whatever. But what if the individual does not want to give their information? What if the individual wants to just walk away? Is that individual being detained? Because under the Constitution, if you care about the Constitution, if you respect constitutional rights, all constitutional rights, the Fourth Amendment is an important one. And the Fourth Amendment provides that if a police officer is going to detain somebody against their will, that is a seizure under the Fourth Amendment, which prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures. For such a seizure to be reasonable, the federal courts have said that a police officer must have a reasonable, articulable suspicion that some crime has occurred. Now here, there can be no doubt that what we have video of Jeff doing, standing there with a sign that says, "God bless the homeless vets," is in fact not a crime and is actually a protected First Amendment activity. As such, the police officer has no reasonable suspicion to forcibly detain Jeff against his will and to obtain his personal information against his will. But of course, people like this, there's no convincing them at the scene. The only thing you can really do is catch it on video, which fortunately was done here.
What does that mean?
It's you're either impairing or hindering or prolonging my investigation. You want me to contact city attorney and all this? I need to know who I'm speaking to. I'm not just going to call all these people and be like, "Hey, Jeff is wanting this and this to happen," when I've already given you a rundown of what needs to happen.
I'll give my ID under threat of arrest, but otherwise I'm not giving my ID.
What's your last name?
I'd rather not give my last name.
Okay.
If you're going to put me in custody and arrest me, I'll give you my ID.
I got you. Why are you making this so complicated, man?
I'm not making it complicated.
No, you are. You are.
And the security's making it complicated. You guys have the option of just leaving me alone and allowing me to exercise my free speech rights.
I understand that, but at the same time, my hands are tied. If, as an establishment, yes, it's the city hall, but you are loitering on their property. Are you?
I am not loitering. I am peacefully assembling on the property.
Okay. Well,
that's constitutionally protected activity.
I don't think you're going to go anywhere. Give me 1 second, okay? Who's y'all's high up to? He's not asking for money or anything, so it is kind of a complicated deal. It does just say God bless and the veterans and the homeless. So I mean, granted, he's stating he's just assembling peacefully there. So I mean,
because the reason why I called because I had employees coming in really uncomfortable with him standing out there. And my job is to protect them with everything going on.
Yeah. No, I get it. Are these doors locked? Or are we able to go in here?
Mr. Larry, Mayor Security, none of the mayor staff was here. So I'm the supervisor of security.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if he was panhandling or something like that. But, I mean...
Well, can you ask him not to stand in front of the building? I don't care where he's standing.
Yeah, I've attempted to do that, and he just sat on his ways and to an extent knows his rights and the law, which is good. I mean, it was one thing. I read the sign, you know, because with the little information that I had, obviously I walk up and pretty reasonable to assume loitering. But then I start noticing the sign. It doesn't, you're not asking for money, nothing like that. I mean, you're just standing there. I can understand where it's reasonably seen as a suspicious or a nuisance in a sense, but he's not disturbing the peace. He's not, again, he's not panhandling. You know, I can do an information report, but I mean, even then, I mean, I'm kind of limited. I'm gonna run it by another senior officer real fast, but I could be wrong. But just from what I gathered with him, that might be where we just lead to, is just kind of limited.
And he is wrong. The First Amendment protects the rights of speakers to engage in public expressive activity, including solicitation of money, i.e. panhandling, without being compelled to identify themselves to government authorities. That's the Watchtower Bible and Tract case from the U.S. Supreme Court in 2002. So the First Amendment also protects the right to refrain from speaking, just as it protects the right to speak. The compulsory identification of a speaker requires, at a minimum, sufficient cause, according to the U.S. Supreme Court in the Buckley case from 1999. Therefore, if a police officer were to forcibly require Jeff to identify himself in order to continue to speak, that would violate his clearly established First Amendment rights, according to the U.S. Supreme Court. But as I told you, if you were expecting these police officers in Little Rock, Arkansas to have any basic awareness of constitutional rights, you're going to be very disappointed in everything else that you see in this video. So here is the second officer arriving. This is Officer Morris with the Little Rock Police Department. And she is absolutely something else.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. God bless on his victims.
So has the other officer made contact with you yet, or is he inside?
Yes, he's inside talking.
Okay, has he talked to you yet?
He has. He said he's going to go in there and discuss with them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, government property, you won't be able to solicit. You'd have to go over somewhere on a sidewalk. You wouldn't be able to do it on the property.
What's your name?
Officer Morris.
Officer Morris?
Morris, yes.
Okay, my name is
Morris.
Like I explained to the other officer, what's his name?
That's Jackson.
Jackson, Officer Morris. I'm engaged in constitution protected activity in a traditional public forum. And if you guys trespass me or make me leave, you'll be held liable.
Well, so I don't know if you're begging for money because you're putting on there that you're homeless. So, and that's usually what the homeless people do. You still can't beg on public. That's not the point. If you're soliciting out here to get money because you're homeless, then you would have to go to the sidewalk and do that.
I am soliciting this free speech.
No. Soliciting is different. When you're out here begging for money, yes, it is. It's something different.
Are you disagreeing with the courts about that? I'm not sure.
What I'm telling you is I know you want an argument. That's what you're here. Your goal is. Here, listen to what I'm saying. You cannot be on government property, and this is state government, begging for money. You can go to a sidewalk because a judge, granted, you can stand on a sidewalk and beg because that is public property, and you can do that there.
I disagree with you, and you're incorrect.
Well, no, I'm not. But no, I'm not. I'm going to talk to her for a minute. So be quiet for a second, please.
Hey. I'm talking to the mayor's chief security. He said with him standing here, he have to go down on the sidewalk.
That's what I'm explaining. You're blocking the entrance, standing here begging. Go to the sidewalk, sir. All you gotta do is go to the sidewalk. And I don't know why. That's what they're saying. The mayor's saying this. Go to the sidewalk. You can either go to the sidewalk, sir, if you're out here soliciting for money, or we're going to take you for loitering for the purpose of begging. Yes, because you're loitering on this property.
You know what a lot of these First Amendment videos get wrong is the fact that the government does have the ability to restrict free speech. And it has a lot to do with where this is occurring. And that's why Jeff keeps mentioning that this is a traditional public forum. And what he means is there are different categories of locations under First Amendment case law that provide different levels of rights, basically, under the First Amendment, depending on where you are. You don't necessarily have the same rights inside a police department as outside on the sidewalk in front of a police department. So some places are more public than others, and some places are more restricted than others for various reasons. And some places are more traditionally public forums where people go to communicate these political expressions that they have. So why is Jeff on these City Hall steps? Well, now this is the same City Hall sidewalk steps in Little Rock, Arkansas, where for years there have been political demonstrations and protests. Here are just a few of those.
Is too damn high. Rent is too damn high. Rent is too damn high. We got roaches, we got rats. Code enforcement, where you at? We got roaches, we got rats. Code enforcement, where you at? United will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
We'll have a larger conversation. Again, we've met with you all before, and so we'll make sure we sit down and make sure that we go through this line by line and identify ways that we can be helpful.
And they're planning on continuing protesting. I know you guys said you might have another protest tonight. As this continues to evolve, this situation, and we learn more and we see more and we have more to show you, we will of course continue to do that. But for now, I'm live in Little Rock.
I think the main thing is that all these citizens need to know that they pay our salary. We exist because they allow us to exist. So there's no questions off limits. So if they want to stop and talk to us, they should have that right. They should be able to talk to us or drive down the street without feeling that they can't do so, freely.
And the protesters said after Chief Humphrey left, they felt so much more hope about change coming because of the answers that he gave them.
So those are just two examples. One, a protest regarding rent being too high. And in that particular one, they were sort of welcomed into the building, and then the city's chief of staff, addressed them. And secondly, during the George Floyd protests across the country, they were camped out there on those courthouse steps protesting with signs basically for days on end. And then you have the chief of police of the Little Rock Police Department going on the scene there and speaking with these people. Did you see him forcibly IDing any of them or arguing with them or being rude to them? No, he was being respectful of them and of their constitutional rights. Boy, it's a good thing that he did not send Officer Jackson or Officer Morris to go deal with that situation. If the concern is that they were impeding traffic into City Hall, compare what you just saw with what Jeff was doing.
Good morning, sir. God bless our homeless veterans, and please pray for our homeless vets. Have a blessed day. Did I block him from walking?
He was impeding no traffic. Nobody that walked in the building had any problem getting around Jeff. He wasn't causing anybody any problems.
I'm telling you now, don't point your finger at me. Don't do that. You're not in charge of me or anything out here. That's fine, sir. That's fine. Call your lawyer right now. That's fine. I'm telling you right now, if they want you off the property, you have to leave. That's what we're probably going to end up doing, and if you don't want to listen. They're saying you can go and stand on the sidewalk right here on the front, but you're not listening. You don't want to do that. And you will still serve your purpose on the front of the sidewalk, standing with your homeless sign. No, not on government property, you don't, sir. You can't stand here and beg for money and solicit people that walk up for money. Do you have a permit to do that, to run that business, to solicit for money here? Okay, thank you. I didn't think you did.
I got her information, so we're good with
talking to her. Let me go ahead and call Oldham real quick and let him know. But here's the thing. It's one thing to stand here and just talk, freedom of speech, but it's another when you're holding a sign saying you're a homeless vet. Yeah. Do you even have a VA card to prove you're a veteran, sir? Or are you falsifying that information? I'm asking you because it says God bless the homeless vets, but I'm asking you, are you a veteran? What branch? Okay, I was too. What was your MOS? Okay, because you probably weren't. I seriously doubt you were.
Jeff is in fact a veteran, not that it's any of her business.
That's not what you said earlier you were doing. You already said that you were out here possibly asking for money. Keep pointing your finger at me, sir, and I'm going to take it as a threat. Negative. You keep pointing at me. Turn around. Nobody's talking to you right now. Turn around. Nobody's talking to you.
So when I first made contact with him.
Hey, so I just want you to know we have a white male that's standing here at the City Hall holding a sign. He's refusing to leave. He says he's a sovereign citizen. It's his right, freedom of speech to stand here. Initially he said he was soliciting money. Now he's not soliciting money. He's just here to grant goodwill to the homeless veterans.
God bless our homeless veterans.
But he's refusing to leave, so.
I'm about to be arrested.
He's just standing out here just being really loud. The assistant chief mayors or whatever they call them, they run him off the property. And he also let me know he was going to sue me, so it's already attempted influence anyway, so also. Okay. Well, I'm going to go in there and talk to them real quick, and I'll be back out. You'll probably end up having to, yeah.
Bless that.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Hey, real fast.
Ironically, even though Jeff is not impeding the foot traffic into City Hall at all, these two cops with nothing better to do are in fact impeding traffic into the front doors of City Hall. Take a look.
So even with him, he was, you go ahead.
Thanks.
Go ahead. Thank you.
So, initially...
Real fast, I gotta get this off my phone. I didn't mean to blow up your phone. I called you twice, but obviously you see why. So anyway, even with John Martin, with him saying he's peacefully assembling, doing that on City Hall, he's gonna have to get a...
Well, you have to get a permit if it's 11 people or more to assemble.
Oh, 11 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and here's the thing: is if they want him, he's now saying it's freedom of speech. When I initially started, I was like, I'll just talk to you, and he's like, yeah. And I said, what are you doing out here begging for money? I was like, you got a sign, and he was like, it's my right to stand here. And I was like, I said, you can't solicit here. I said, you can stand on the sidewalk and do that. And the judge said that, but you can't stand here.
Is that what happened? I'm not sure why this woman repeatedly tells the lie. Not that it makes a difference constitutionally, but she repeatedly tells the lie that Jeff was asking for money. But it was all recorded on multiple cameras. Here is the view of her initial interaction, just so we're all on the same page of what Jeff said to her.
What's your name?
Officer Morris.
Officer Morris?
Morris, yes.
Okay, my name is Jeff.
M-O-R-R-I-S.
Like I explained to the other officer, what's his name?
That's Jackson.
Jackson, Officer Jackson, Officer Morris. I'm engaged in constitutionally protected activity on a traditional public forum. And if you guys trespass me or make me leave, you'll be held liable. And you won't...
Well, so I don't know if you're begging for money because you're putting on there that you're homeless. So, and that's usually what the
even if I was homeless and I was
you still can't
free,
beg on
free
these
speech.
Public. That's not the point. If you're soliciting out here to get money because you're homeless, then you would have to go to the sidewalk.
Soliciting, I am soliciting, and it's free speech.
No. Soliciting is different. When you're out here
No, it's
begging
not.
for money, yes, it is.
Are you disagreeing with the courts about that? I'm not trying.
What I'm telling you is, I know you want an argument. That's what you're here. Your goal is.
I'm not.
Listen to what I'm saying. You cannot be on government property, and this is state government, begging for money. You can go to a sidewalk because a judge, granted, you can stand on a sidewalk and beg because that is public property, and you can do that there.
Probably ended up taking him in jail for criminal trespass, and he also let me know he was going to sue me for my job, working him for attempt to influence as well. So, because he wants to, I love these folks that want to make a big deal about, I know my right, and he's like, I said, are you a veteran? He's like, yes. So what branch? He said, Army. I said, what's your MOS? None of your business. So he probably doesn't even know what that is, and he probably doesn't even have a card, but his sign says, God bless the homeless veterans, so.
We can stay outside to listen to him, so.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Go ahead. Did he happen to ask you anything when you were walking up?
Huh?
Did he happen to bother you or anything when?
No, he's just saying God bless vets. He's
Okay.
not bugging anybody that
Who
I know
cares?
of.
Yeah.
Has
Thank
he
you.
been?
That's what we're here for, but I was just curious. Morning.
I don't know, they've got cameras that record and it's got audio too, so all I've got to do is ask them to pull it back.
You see this camera right here? See my camera right here? It's been recording the whole time. I never asked for money. I never asked for money. I'm soliciting goodwill and compassion for the homeless vets.
That's not what he said. I'm saying I wasn't here. I'm telling you what he said. I was not here when that conversation happened when you guys had contact. I'm just stating what he said. But my other thing was, are you falsely impersonating that you're a veteran? Are you falsely impersonating that you're a veteran? Because that's really offensive if you are and you ever served in the military. I asked you if you were in the military. You said yes, the Army. Well, I'm just asking. Because we have folks that say they're in the military and they beg and they do other stuff and they're really not, and it's an embarrassment to people who serve, who don't deserve that.
Ask me too. I don't think what's happening. The Officer Jackson, what? I'm asking you to leave. He's asking me to leave. Am I being trespassed?
You're not being banned from the property. You're being told to get off the property due to what you're doing.
Due to what I'm doing, it's getting free speech. Okay, and if I don't leave the property, what's going to happen?
you'll get charged with criminal trespass.
Okay, I'm out of here. But this is disgraceful. This is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of assembly on a traditional public forum. And I have every right to be here. People fight and die for the right to do this. But you guys are disgusting. Shame on you! Shame on you!
So they trespass him off the property, and as he turns to walk away, and he's walking away, Officer Morris then directs Officer Jackson basically to go track him back down and get his information forcibly, and that's what he does, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's leaving, so we'll stand by and make sure he's completely gone. So right now we're good.
I still never got his information besides Jeff.
Did you let him know if he comes back he's going to do it? Let him know. Sorry, no one's like, let him know.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive down there then. You do understand that you are not allowed back on the property. That's what they're wanting now. So.
That's what they want. Okay.
All right. Well, I do have to get your information.
For trespass?
Yeah.
That's a civil thing, man.
No, it's not.
I've left the property. The crime only occurs if I refuse to leave or if I come back.
Exactly. Listen to me. You didn't commit a crime, but listen. You just said what I was about to say. If you come back, right? You just admitted that. How is an officer or the establishment going to be able to know who you are if they don't have no information?
The only way you can get ID is if there's a crime committed or you suspect me.
No, that's false. I'm now conducting an investigation.
I'm going to go ahead and go on my way unless I'm being detained.
Yes, you are being detained. Okay, I'm done playing with you. Okay, you're making this up. You are, and you just spit on me.
I'm trying. I didn't mean to spit on you.
I got you. Well, act right.
Let me step away, man. Let me step away.
What's your last name?
If I don't give you my last name, I'll be arrested.
Yes.
Gray.
Huh?
Gray. Gray. Jeff Gray.
What's your date of birth? Phone number?
I'm not giving my phone number.
Address?
That's in St. Augustine.
What?
St. Augustine, Florida.
What?
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine?
Yes, sir. So now you're detaining me to get my driver's license, which is an illegal detainment because you don't suspect me of committing a crime. I complied with the trespass. Goodness gracious. Am I free to go now?
I just told you why I'm getting your information. Yes, you're good to go. I'll try explaining it to you, but you don't want to listen. Well, you're fucking ignorant. Good Lord. He was just walking. I made contact with him when he was still on the sidewalk.
So here's the thing. Let me shut these off.
Okay, well, let's go over who's ignorant. So Arkansas is in the 8th Circuit, so other than Supreme Court case law, 8th Circuit federal case law applies. And it just so happens there was a case in 2019 from the 8th Circuit, Rogers versus Bryant, where two guys challenged the Arkansas anti-loitering law that banned them from begging in a manner that was harassing, causes alarm, or impedes traffic. So there's this law in Arkansas where a person commits the offense of loitering if he lingers or remains on a sidewalk, roadway, or public right-of-way in a public parking lot or public transportation vehicle or facility or on private property for the purpose of asking for anything as charity or a gift in a harassing or threatening manner, B, in a way likely to cause alarm to the other person, or C, under circumstances that create a traffic hazard or impediment. So basically what these officers were trying to enforce here. That was examined by the 8th Circuit in 2019. These two guys, they want to go to public areas, hold signs, and speak. The court said the fact that they intend to ask for money does not mean that their speech is unprotected. To the contrary, asking for charity or gifts, whether on the street or door to door, is protected First Amendment speech. And there we have it, the 8th Circuit citing the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's what the court held on this specific law that these officers are trying to actually enforce here. Arkansas's anti-loitering law is a content-based restriction because it regulates speech based on the topic discussed or the idea or message expressed. It applies only to those asking for charity or gifts, not those who are, for example, soliciting votes, seeking signatures for a petition, or selling something, or complaining about rent's too high, or complaining about police misconduct. In other words, its application depends on the communicative content of the speech. Because that law targets only a subset of speech that meets these criteria, specifically asking for charity or gift, panhandling, it is a content-based restriction. So under strict scrutiny, Arkansas's anti-loitering law can survive only if it's narrowly tailored to further a compelling interest. In that case, Arkansas offered no justification for its decision to single out panhandlers from other types of solicitation. The anti-loitering law is under-inclusive and consequently not narrowly tailored. So I don't know if there's some other Arkansas law here that these two officers thought that they were enforcing, but I believe this was it. And it has already been ruled unconstitutional by the 8th Circuit. I know, unbelievable. And even if it were not unconstitutional, Jeff's conduct still didn't fall within that statute because he wasn't harassing anybody. He wasn't impeding any traffic at all. This was just pure First Amendment violation. So like he's done elsewhere, I really hope that Jeff Gray sues here and gets a settlement from Little Rock. And also an order requiring mandatory training for all of these officers on the First Amendment, because they obviously are completely ignorant. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. I'll link the original video and other information in the first pinned comment below. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.